Well, we have been waiting on a decision out of Fulton County that we finally received, and MAGA is so upset about it. Trump, Marjorie Greene, many others will get to their reactions. And this is a moment, a turning point, where now we're in the home stretch to the Fulton County trial actually taking place, which should terrify Donald Trump and his allies. I want to bring in Aaron Parnas, our legal expert, to break down what just took place. Then we'll get to the MAGA reactions. Aaron, what's going on?
Yeah, so today the long-awaited decision from Judge Scott McAfee found that District Attorney Fani Willis is not disqualified from continuing to pursue and oversee the January 6th related indictments of Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and others. This came after a multi-day hearing where Fani Willis testified herself regarding potential improper relationship she had with a special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, that she hired on her team. Today's judge's decision essentially said that Fani Willis can remain on the case. There does not appear to be a conflict of interest, but that Fani Willis does have to sever ties professionally with Wade, as there could be some sense of impropriety between the two. So ultimately, this was a big decision for the district attorney's office, one that is very bad for Donald Trump and his co-defendants, because that means that the case will move forward as planned.
So good to hear. Okay, we're going to probably read a few of these responses, and I'll throw it back to you, then read some more. Let's start with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who sent out a tweet saying, Judge McAfee worked for Fani Willis and donated to her campaign and has now ruled that Fani can keep prosecuting Trump, but only if she removes her lover, Nathan Wade, off the case. Judge McAfee should have rescued himself in the first place because of his obvious bias. Fani Willis lied under oath. Oh my gosh, this is just chock full of untruths. In his courtroom, Fani and Wade conspired with the White House and January 6th committee, talk about RICO charges. This is something they've been saying a lot. The RICO charges should be against Biden and the deep state. Fani Willis overpaid her lover, Nathan Wade, as he had zero experience with RICO cases, abuse of taxpayer funds, and the Georgia Ethics Board needs to seriously investigate both Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. I've filed multiple complaints. Well, good. She can get justice for the wrong. Aaron, what's your response to Marjorie Greene there?
Well, there were a lot of fake news in there and just a lot of lies from Marjorie Taylor Greene, obviously at the forefront of it all. But I think it's funny that Marjorie Taylor Greene is coming out and attacking Judge McAfee this hard right now. If he had all of these potential conflicts of interest with Fani Willis and her team, why wasn't she saying this before? This is the first time we're really hearing of it from Greene. And the reason is because they got a decision that they didn't like. So now they're just concocting all of these reasons to attack the judge and make it a political hit job against the judge. Ultimately, this is just to play for Trump on Twitter, not necessarily to play for Trump in the courtroom.
Yeah, and of course, Trump sent out in response to this, breaking from Trump, Fani Willis can continue the witch hunt against me, rigged system against us. I do have to say, something comes off really desperate about the obsession with this Fani Willis story from MAGA. And what I mean is not that it shouldn't have been looked into and figured out and the judge needs to make a decision, and he did. Great. Okay, from the beginning, I've said whatever needs to play out on that front to make sure this case proceeds in the most proper way fashion, awesome. But they're trying to attach to this all of the they're trying to delegitimize the strength of the case being brought against Donald Trump and the substantiated and pretty devastating and serious allegations being brought against him by obsessing over Fani Willis and the relationship with Nathan Wade and trying to make it something that it's not. And to me, it shows they can't argue on the merits. They can't make a case for why Trump didn't do the things he's being accused of, or that it was unjustified to bring charges against him for trying to essentially steal an election in the state of Georgia and nationwide. And so instead, it has to be an obsession with Fani Willis.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a trend we see in a lot of these Trump kind of cases. He doesn't argue the facts. He just argues the political implications. We saw it with the E. Jean Carroll case in New York, where he didn't really dispute the facts of the defamation that defamatory statements he made. We didn't see him dispute the facts that he engaged in insurrection in Colorado back when the Colorado trial court was considering to remove him off the ballot. He doesn't engage in facts. He engages in political semantics because ultimately he's just running for president. It seems like he doesn't really care what's happening in the courtroom.
Absolutely. And then a guy named Jim Banks said, normal stuff we heard from Marjorie, then Fani Willis is as crooked as they come. It's impossible for Donald Trump to get a fair trial, election interference. That gets me. The fact that they're trying to weaponize the term election interference about a case where Trump's being accused of election interference. Pretty stunning stuff there. So what comes next, Aaron, for this trial? How soon are we looking in terms of it getting scheduled?
Yeah, so this is the bad news for Donald Trump and his co-defendants. The trial is moving full steam ahead now. So where we're at in the proceedings is Trump and his co-defendants have actually already filed some motions to dismiss the indictment, some other things. Judge McAfee will now likely hold hearings. We'll rule on those. This was also never expected to be the first trial to go out of the 4 criminal cases against Trump. This was always seen to be as kind of the most complex in terms of like state procedure. So this trial likely won't go this year before the election, just because also it's going to take several months. I mean, I would not be surprised if this trial took 6 to 9 months from start of jury selection to closing arguments and a jury verdict, just because you have to find a jury that doesn't know about Trump or this case, but not just that. Prosecutors have already said they have 3 to 4 months worth of evidence that they could put up. So the trial is moving forward full steam ahead. Still don't expect it to happen before the election. But this is really good news for the district attorney's office, because had Fani Willis been disqualified, it would have been delayed even further because they would have had to appoint a new attorney to prosecute the case. And there's no guarantee that that attorney would have prosecuted the case. That attorney could have easily dismissed the charges against Trump and his co-defendants. So overall, a win for Fani, a win for democracy.
There we go. Just one last random thought. You brought up the jury selection. Because no one in the country hasn't heard of Trump and doesn't have some perception, some feeling about him, how do you do that? Do you get people who sure might know a little bit about it, but say that they're not knowledgeable enough to be biased against him or for him, or that even the knowledge they have doesn't skew their ability to be impartial?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a question faced in a lot of these high-profile cases. I mean, I never really to the magnitude of this case, but ultimately, you just have to find 12 citizens who could be fair and impartial. It doesn't matter that they may know Trump or that they may know about the efforts to overturn the election. They just have to be fair and impartial when it comes to adjudicating the facts. So ultimately, that's what a judge is going to have to decide, whether the 12 that are picked are fair and impartial. You're going to be able to find a jury because you're going to be able to find 12 people who, A, don't really care about politics that much, B, maybe didn't even vote in 2020 or 2016, and C, aren't really following what was happening on January 6th. You will find those. It's just going to take multiple months, especially in Georgia. So we'll see, but ultimately it shouldn't be an issue.
Aaron, where can people find you?
On all my social platforms, just at Aaron Parnas.
And please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can become a member at lukebeasleyshow.com/membership to get the daily bonus show.